Hey everybody, I am back in the kitchen today. I'm glad you're here with me because we're going to be making something today that I'm excited about. Of course, I say that every time. I'm always excited, but I'm happy to be here. Now listen, if you love a fruit turnover, like a strawberry turnover or blueberry or peach, any kind of fruit at all, then you're going to love this because what we're going to make is just kind of a shortcut method to making a fruit pastry. I'm not going to make my own pastry dough because who's got time for that? I'm going to use store-bought puff pastry. It's the most wonderful creation ever, and you can find it in the grocery store in the frozen food section. And if you don't have any at your grocery store, go talk to the manager, tell them to get some, or go to a different store because it's wonderful stuff. This stuff is what I buy at my store. I have to get Pepperidge Farm because that's what they offer, and it's beautiful. But if you can get store brand, get it because it's cheaper and it works just as well. What I'm going to be doing with the filling is I'm using strawberry, and I've made a lovely cherry filling. Now listen, easiest thing in the world. It's strawberry season here, and there's strawberries out the wazoo here, so I made this lovely filling. This is just a homemade strawberry jam. Now, I took about a cup and a half of chopped strawberries, and I poured in a third of a cup, yeah, it's right at a third of a cup of sugar. And I put it on the stove and just let it cook down, and it cooked down into the most wonderful jam. I did the same thing with the cherry. These are just cherries. I think they're bean cherries or sweet red cherry, whatever. It's just whatever they had at Walmart. I pitted them with my little pitting machine thing. It's not a machine, it's just a handheld pitter, but it's fabulous. And chopped them up, put the sugar to them, cooked them down, and this is what we end up with. It's wonderful. So that's what we're going to use as our filling, the strawberry and the cherry. And they're the easiest things in the world to make. They do take a little time to put them together, but let's get started here. I'll show you. Now, I put this stuff in the refrigerator last night because you're supposed to keep it in the freezer, but I knew that I wanted to use it today, and so I wanted it to be nice and thawed out because you can't work with it when it's frozen. Trust me, you just can't. You could put a little flour down if you want to, but I'm not going to because I forgot to get it out. I don't think I'm going to need it anyway because I'll just flip this thing over. You can see that this is a floured side. There's plenty of flour on this, and when you open it up, it's going to have these little creases. Now, don't try to rush it because if you take it out of the freezer and you plan on using a whole sheet in one project and not cutting it up, well, then you'll break it apart if you try to make it lay flat when it's frozen because it's got these little creases and it's a natural tendency to pop. So, I'm going to flip it over just to put the flour side down. And I am going to cut them because I'm going to cut these into pieces that are going to turn into my little pastry. Now, this is not a perfect square. This thing's a little bit on the side of a rectangle. So you're not going to get even pieces, really. I mean, you can try and get the best you can. But it's okay because we kind of want the bottom layer of our pastry to be just a little bit bigger than the top layer. And I'll show you why. Because this is going to be a two-layered project. We're going to have the bottom, then we're going to have just a little bit on top that we're going to cut a hole in the middle and put it on top of the bottom piece, and that's where our filling's going, so that it can bake up all around the filling, and it's going to be great. So, anyway, you can see I've already got a few cut here, and you can see that I have cut it to where it's just the least bit shorter around the edge. See, that's just that one piece. And this is the top, and that's going to be the bottom part. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I am going to take my top part, and I'm going to cut some kind of a design in it. Now, you can use any kind of cookie cutter design. You can cut it with a knife. I mean, whatever makes you happy. I just have an assortment of cookie cutters that I got out of my Christmas cookie bag. And that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use a heart one. Here we go. Going in for this heart. And I'm sticking it on the top piece. And I'm just pressing down. And look. Well, you better press down hard, or or else it won't get through because this dough is thick. And we'll pop that little piece out and we'll save that. We'll bake that off in a minute. But look, it's a perfect heart. And that's what I want. So, I'm going to go ahead and cut a few more of these to size so that we can make a whole bunch of them. And they're going to be nice and flaky and yummy and delightful. And if folks don't like them, tell them to go home. That's what I say anyway. But people are going to love them, so it's not a big deal. So I'm just going to go cut this one in 3 pieces. Boom. I think I need to square that one up just a little bit. You can't mess it up, y'all. Seriously. Yeah, that one looks pretty good. That one looks pretty good. And I'll do one more. Look at that. It looks good. So that's what we're working with. Alright. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut these tops so that we can put stuff in them. So here's one that is, it's a clover, 3-leaf clover, or it could be a spade, whatever you want to call it. Punch them out. And I'll use a flower. Oh, the flower didn't work. Oh well. We'll put him to the side and keep the flower. And we'll do something else. Look at this. Let's do this. Let's use the flower. And let's cut a heart out of the flower. See, you can't mess up. You just go with what you got. See, look, there's a hole. That's what we want. Okay, so there's that one. And here's this one. And now I'm going to do one more. This guy here. What do we want to do? How about a duck? It's a duck. Okay, we'll do a duck. I don't know why I have a duck cookie cutter in my Christmas bin, but welcome to my house. Look at that. It's a duck. All right, we'll stick our little quacker over here. And now I'm going to fill. I'm going to get these things filled up. And it's a little time consuming, but just do it. I'm going to go ahead and line my sheet pan with these. So I'll have a good foundation to build on. Put my little heart one here. Put these out of the way. Move this over. It's always a process. I did this one earlier, so we'll use him too. And we will use this guy that I did earlier. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, we got them ready. Now, I'm going to do 3 cherry and 3 strawberry. All you really need to do, if these were, well, I'll say right out of the refrigerator. They are right out of the refrigerator, most of them. I've got my little brush here, and I've just got a little bit of water I'm going to dip in. And I'm just going to paint around the edge of my base because we can't really press down much when we put the top layer on because the nature of puff pastry is to puff up. It's got lots of layers in it, like a croissant, and we don't want to impede the process of the rise by pressing down on the corners. So we're just going to gently put him on here and just kind of press a little bit because that water between the layers is acting like glue. And so it's doing exactly what I want it to. It's going to keep the sides level so the gooey doesn't run out. I mean, that'd be terrible if all the yummy middle left. So I'm going here with some, look at that. Boom, 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 all around. I did the duck. I'm going to do the heart. If I can pick him up. And then I'll do this guy. And there's, you know, hit or miss. Just do it. Just whack it on there. All right, so hello, Mr. Duck. You're going to be full of strawberry yumminess. So I'm taking my spoon, and I'm just going to fill this duck up. I'm going to fill Mr. Duck with yummy goodness. And it's okay if it runs over a little bit, because this puff pastry is going to puff up around the filling. It's going to be fine, I promise. And if it's not, who cares? Because we're going to eat it. Don't you love my logic? All right, in with this. I got to thinking, why in the world do you buy strawberry jam? Because this stuff was so stinking easy to make. It was strawberries and sugar. And it's delicious. I mean, I like jelly, but shoot, this stuff is fit to chew right here. All right, you see, I'm just going about my business here, putting this filling in. I'm going to give him a pretty good dollop inside his little heart. He's probably going to be a hot mess, but I don't care. Let's get the cherry now. Cherry cooked up beautifully. Same method here. It was about a cup of cherries that I pitted, and then I just chopped them up a little bit, and boy, this stuff tastes good. I ain't kidding. So, in it goes. Okay, now this one's just going to get a little bit because it's got a little heart, but it's okay. And truth be told, you won't even be able to see the stinking shape for the most part after you filled it. I mean, I make a big deal out of choosing a cute shape, but if you just want to use a stinking circle, see, or a square, that would be perfect because it would work. It'd work just fine. But I had some fun shapes, so that's why I used it. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back around the edges here with a little bit more water, and I am going to put some sugar on just for a little bit of crunch. A little crunchy finish. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But, you know, to each his own. Right? So I'm just going to go around here with a little bit of sugar. And around this edge here. And the sugar will caramelize. And it'll be just nice and crunchy. So I'm going to get the rest of these took care of. I'm going to get them painted up and sugared up. Oh, I am going to show you this though. I'm going to do the same thing to these. The little cutouts. I'm just going to place them here on the baking sheet. And I'm going to paint them too and put sugar on them. Because we're not going to waste anything. They might be, you know, a byproduct of our actual project. But still, we're going to use them. So, that's water here. I'm going in. I was playing with lime juice earlier, and I've got a little lime stuck in my brush. That's okay. I'm painting. I feel like I'm in art class. I was never really good at art, but to each his own, right? Alright, so, I mean, how can you mess this up? We're just painting. Oh, so I'll show you. I'm just going to give these guys a sprinkle with the sugar. And try to keep it on the cookie. Well, it's not a cookie. Try to cook it on the pastry rather than the paper, but it'll burn. But whatever. A little bit for you. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I have everybody got a little bath and they got some sugar on them and they're going into an oven. Now I have preheated this oven to 400 degrees. You want to bake hot when you're using puff pastry because we want to shock it. Because basically what the whole concept behind the puff pastry is you're using steam in the layers because there's steam in the butter. They have layered butter between all these lovely, well, layers. They have folded it over on itself and rolled it out and folded it. So you end up with 1,000 layers, and they've all got butter between them. And in the butter, there's water. And when the hot oven hits it, the water escapes, makes steam, and it makes it puff up. I know, it sounds like science, and I guess it is science. It's just amazing to me. Anyway, in the oven you go. We're going to go for 15 minutes, and then we're going to check them, and we're going to see what's happening. It's so exciting. Okay, y'all, the buzzer just went off, so these suckers are ready. Let's take them out. Now, they took a full 15 minutes to bake, but look what has happened. Isn't it adorable? Look, they've puffed up. Yay! I think this is wonderful. And look at my little duck. Oh, he got a little brown. But look, he's adorable. And the hearts. Y'all, this is so stinking cute. Now, I have baked some of these before, and I noticed that while we're looking at it, they look pretty full. But in actuality, it's still bubbling hot. That jam is, so it's kind of going to sink to the bottom. Now, this is one that I baked earlier today. Now, you can see how the jam has sunken to the bottom. And that's fine, because we like this. There's nothing wrong with this. So let me get these on a rack to cool off just a bit. And we'll get on to other business about how to serve these suckers. Now, I'm kind of a purist. I don't think they need a whole lot of decoration. But you know what? To each his own. If you want to snazz them up to beat the band, well, then knock yourself out. I'm all for it. Now, this little fella, he's got issues. But he's fine because he's filled with yummy goodness. And we'll just stick these suckers over here. I don't know what he was. All right. So let me get this out of the way. Move this out of the way. Now look, I'm going to show you how to serve this if you don't want to just eat it straight off the pan. Now, like I said, it has sunken down in the middle just a little bit. Well, I have some strawberries here that would be just perfect to just stick a strawberry there on the side. Do a little boom, boom, boom. Who wouldn't want to eat that? And if you had some whipped cream, be perfect. Anyway, y'all, I'm just as thrilled as I can be. This cherry one looks just as lovely as the strawberry one. They're so easy to make. They're delicious. People are going to love them. You're going to be famous if you make these and take them to a party, I guarantee you. So, anyway, I'm going to take my strawberry off here. I'm going to give it a bite. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. I hope you've learned something. I hope you make these. I hope you leave me a message, comment, whatever. Just let me know your thoughts on this because it is tasty. It's going to be crunchy too. I can already tell. Anyway, don't forget to come visit me at jamieteachmetocook.com. Everything that I cook, everything that I post on Facebook or on Instagram, it all ends up over on jamieteachmetocook.com. So I would love to have you subscribe to my channel on YouTube. I'd love to have you subscribe to my actual jamieteachmetocook.com website. Keep in touch, keep you up to date of things, and I might have a little giveaway soon. I don't know what I'm going to give away, but I'll give something away. Anyway, here goes. I'm going in. Perfect. I'll see y'all next time.